hello. Why would you even say hello at the beginning of a video? You'll always have people complain about it or skip it, so why bother at all? It's so cliche anyway. Does that sound dumb? I hope it does, because otherwise you might be a victim of the Nirvana Fallacy. Let's look at some examples. How the f did they even say that word? Thalidomide? Thalidomide. 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 Okay, fine. Medical testing on animals is useless. The drug thalidomide passed animal tests but resulted in horrific birth defects when used by pregnant women. These anti-drug driving ad campaigns are not going to work. People are still going to drink and drive no matter what. Seatbelts are a stupid idea. People are still going to die in car crashes. What's the point? I hope you do like these examples because I stole them straight from the Wikipedia article where it says, the Nirvana fallacy is the informal fallacy of comparing actual things with the unrealistic, idealized alternatives. It can also refer to the tendency to assume there is a perfect solution to a particular problem. A closely related concept is the perfect solution fallacy. The perfect solution fallacy is a related informal fallacy that occurs when an argument assumes that a perfect solution exists or that the solution should be rejected because some part of the problem would still exist after it was implemented. Informal fallacies are a type of incorrect argument in natural language. The source of the error is not just due to the form of the argument, as in the case of formal fallacies, but can also be due to their content and context.
Several Wikipedia articles later.
Proto-writing consists of visible marks communicating limited information. Such systems emerged from the earlier traditions of symbols. Where am I? Playing with a cat. My cat plays fetch. Does your cat play fetch? So why am I talking about the Nirvana fallacy? Because it's everywhere and it's infuriating, especially the perfect solution variety of it. As some of you may know and the rest of you are about to find out, I've worked in the software development industry for about 10 years, and the number one reason for which nothing gets done is laziness. But the number two reason is the Nirvana fallacy of the perfect solution variety. The way it usually plays out is this. Person 1 highlights a problem of some description, or they bring forward the feature they'd like to implement. Person 2 then points out the solution is not perfect/amazing, starts outlining how the perfect solution would look like, then stresses out how complicated it would be to achieve, and then argues that there's no point in even trying at all. And now, the software is no better than when we started, and person 1 feels inadequate for not coming up with the ideal solution to begin with, and will be less likely to propose anything in the future. Mask toxicity at its finest. Someone on the internet, and I forgot who, and I'm sorry for that, has referred to these kind of arguments as being less than useless. Because not only do they not achieve anything, they are actually harmful to the individual's morale. Whatever, right? No need to get so fired up. Small little fallacies that lead to nothing of great consequence. What's the worst that can happen? Why banning all guns is not the answer.
Now, be honest here. Do you really think that any criminal in possession of an unregistered firearm with or without scratched off serial number is just going to walk down to their local police station and say something like, well, it's the new law, so here's my legally obtained guns. I guess I'll be going to jail now. Thank you very much. Not a chance.
Says the only Western country where gun violence is a problem. But to its credit, the article is from 1969. Let's see how it's doing these days. Why gun control doesn't work. Right. This one's like from 2020, 2021. So what's your excuse? These laws have been in place for decades, and by now the evidence is crystal clear. Gun control doesn't work. Some of the key reasons are detailed below. Criminals don't obey gun control laws. It's not the criminals shooting up a school. Well, not in the beginning. They are by the end of it. Criminals, by definition, do not obey the law. Gun control laws only affect law-abiding people who go through legal avenues to obtain firearms. Yes, but that gives access to more non-law-abiding citizens to guns. If guns are not readily available anywhere, criminals have a harder time getting them too. Criminals overwhelmingly obtain their firearms through illegal channels and will never be heard by state and federal laws. 50 years later, same exact arguments, but the problems are getting way worse. 2 whole mile-long articles arguing that if banning guns won't fix every single gun violence problem, it just shouldn't be done. Next example. I kid you not, Sefer Shahshahani wrote a whole goddamn paper on the Nirvana fallacy in the Fair Use Reform, and it's 70 pages long. I'm not going to go into too much detail in this paper because, I'm not ashamed to admit it, it goes straight over my head. If your brain is not as smooth as mine, I've included the link in the description. But my point is, the Nirvana fallacy is so prevalent and so damaging that it's inhibiting us as a society from evolving. In this particular case, it's being used to prevent a fair use reform that would allow the fair use laws to become more inclusive of the 21st century digital and internet media. Okay, so what else do I have here? Oh, this one's good. Chances are you were either the victim of or had a friend that was the victim of overly demanding parents. And I do mean victim. Every grade had to be an A++. You had to be good at least 3 extracurricular activities, piano, swimming, whatever. Always well dressed, always well behaved, you know what I'm talking about. Well, most of those people grew up with the Nirvana Fallacy not just as a logical fallacy, but as a psychological issue. I would know, I suffer from it. It's a lovely little mental problem that goes by a few names, but my favorite being perfectionism paralysis. As children, these individuals were indoctrinated that everything they do must be done perfectly. Not to the best of their abilities, perfectly. If you're not good enough,
do not be sorry. Be better.
But of course, these children grew up. And now, as adults with decision power, if they don't believe they can achieve something, what do instead? I'm not going to draw, it would be shit, why even bother? I'm not going to make video games, I'd be no good at it, it takes a lot of skill. Man, I would suck so much at cooking, I'd rather just order. I'd love to make YouTube videos, but I'd suck. So if I can't be as good as Mr. Beast, why bother? And it's not even like they don't know that any skill requires hard work and patience. They will have developed over time the other skills that they are very good at and will have no problem doing tasks that utilize those skills, and will usually deliver outstanding results due to their perfectionism. But anything new?
Forget about it!
That activates the auto-destruct.
But let's take their decision power away. Boss comes in and tells them they have to interview a new candidate. They've never interviewed anyone before, and boss gives them little to no guidance. Breathing starts getting a little heavy. It's okay, I'll just get some questions off the internet. The internet is filled with boring, where do you see yourself in 5 years questions that don't help with much. Breathing gets heavier. It's no good, the candidate will think that we're boring, this interview needs to go perfectly, what do I do? Ooh, maybe I can ask Steve, he's done interviews before. He's on holiday, it's only 2 days, I'll just wait for him to get back. 2 days pass, time is running out, and you were wrong. Steve doesn't tell you anything useful, he just says to get some questions off the internet. Fucking cretin doesn't have any passion for his job, I was an idiot for going to him. Anxiety sets in. You've had little resources and they've all let you down. Panic takes hold. What else can you do? I'll just go and make a tea and deal with it tomorrow. But tomorrow comes and goes, and so does the day after, and the day after. One day, you were busy with another task. The other, you just had to go to the doctor. There was just no time. The day of the interview is here, and it goes exactly as poorly as you imagined it would. It was boring. The candidate wasn't interested. But whatever, it wasn't your fault, right? You would have done it perfectly if you had the proper help and had more time. But there was this thing, and there was this other thing. It's not your fault you couldn't even get it perfect, right? Perfect solution fallacy. A few people I know are trying to get out of this mentality, including myself. Well, I'm not so much trying because I haven't found the perfect solution yet. But one of the things that I found on the internet that has helped me a lot was this Reddit post that's a screenshot of a Tumblr post that's a saying said by someone named Professor. Anything worth doing is worth doing poorly. Oh, and to the person that's smugly typing in the comments that counterexample they've just scraped together to prove that your saying is wrong, this thing is not worth doing if you're doing it poorly, I'd like to congratulate you on your new Nirvana Fallacy. It's better to brush your teeth for 20 seconds than to not brush them at all. It's better to eat a little bread than to not eat anything at all. It's better to go out for a slow walk than to sit on the couch. These are all imperfect solutions, but they are better than no solution, which is literally why the Nirvana Fallacy is a fallacy. Seatbelts are a bad idea, people are still going to die in car crashes. Yes, but far fewer will, because the seatbelt saved them. Even when you take into account people that have died due to the seatbelt killing them, it's still far fewer deaths than when we weren't using seatbelts at all. These anti-drunk driving ad campaigns are not going to work, people are still going to drunk drive no matter what. Yes, but some won't, which still reduces the number of drunk driving related accidents. Not everything has to fix everything. It can be imperfect and just fix some of the problem, and we'll find different solutions for the remaining problems. Banning gun ownership won't make the criminals give up their guns. No, but they will restrict teenager access, which means less schools being shot up with AR-15s. That's something. But anyway, pointing out Nirvana fallacies won't fix society. People will just continue being horrible to each other anyway, so why bother? Peace.